All right, so I had a really good question about how to create this data set and share it and all work on it simultaneously. So one way to do this is, especially if you use paper surveys, to just do everything directly in StatCrunch. The one downside, by the way, Mesa Spring 2018 with a capital M. The one downside to this, is that, sorry, I can't type and talk, is that StatCrunch doesn't automatically save what you've been doing as work. So if you forget to press the save button, all of your inputs are lost. So it's a total pain in the ass. So as an alternative, you could use a Google spreadsheet, which then you could then read into StatCrunch, which I showed you guys how to do last time. So if you wanted to do a Google spreadsheet, then everything you type in is saved. You don't have to do anything. You can see at the right here, it's saving every single time. And then to share it with your group, let's just say group project data. You can send them a link, you can enter people's email addresses, and then everything everyone types is automatically saved as soon as they're typing in. And if other people are working on your thing, so let me just go ahead and get, change this to edit, copy. I'm going to go ahead and open this in an incognito window on my other side, so that way I can kind of show you what it would look like if somebody else were in here. So now I'm in this, and you can see it shows, done. It shows that there's an anonymous Lifrit. I don't know what that is. I have no idea. But the other person is in there, and I can actually see what cells that person is in. So this is where they are. So if we're both typing in at the exact same time, we're very aware that we're both typing in there. So if I was this other person, I might start typing in my stuff in a lower row, so that way we're not fighting for space and cells in the Google Sheet. So Google Sheets are absolutely fabulous, and you can see all changes are saved every single time. I can watch other people work on it. I don't have enough good things to say about Google Drives. If you want to work in StatCrunch, where eventually you need to put your data for your upload to the discussion board for the points for the data part. This you can do by, sorry, I'm like touching the microphone a ton because I'm a crazy person. I was like tied up with my cord. So open StatCrunch. You could take whatever's typed in here and you can just straight up copy and paste in. So once you have your data in something else, you can just copy and paste it into StatCrunch. I showed you guys last time you can also load data from a Google Drive or from a file that you have, so that's also a possibility. And the last thing you could do is you could type in directly into StatCrunch, right? You could type in. The only issue here is that when you type in directly into StatCrunch, it doesn't auto-save like Google does. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to press save, and you'll have to do that often. Now, if you were to save this, what you can do to give this to someone else is you can just send them this link. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in an incognito. So if I sent this link to somebody else, posted it on my discussion board for the group, what's going to happen is they're going to get this. Oh, dataset's not available. Now if I sign in, let's see if it's available now. Mesa 119, Mesa Spring 2018. Damn it. I cannot type Mesa Spring 2018 into my Mesa Spring 2018. Drum roll. Now that I've signed in, that just link right there works. The other way I can get into it, if I'm a student coming in here, if I come into StatCrunch and I sign in, if I go to my StatCrunch, I can go to the data area, and you can see there's already a bunch of groups that have put their data in. You guys are awesome. You may want to take a time, and those of you who named your group 11, remember I have 3 classes, so there might be another group 11. But that's where you'll find data, so that way you can easily go and just look in my StatCrunch, my data. You can find your group's data there if it's been saved into StatCrunch. So either the discussion board and that direct link, as long as you're signed into the group, the class StatCrunch, you'll be able to see it. And then it'll tell you at first you don't have access like it did here, but if you sign in, you'll be able to see it. Or you can just go to the My Data section and then find it there. So that's how you can share in StatCrunch. That's how you can easily kind of collaborate and edit in a Google Sheet, which is my recommendation, just because I've had a lot of students forget to press save after typing a ton of stuff in here. So that's it. I hope that helps with the data part. The second and third checkpoint, one person from your group just needs to post the link to the data set once it's up and on StatCrunch, and that'll get you guys the points for collecting data. And then the third checkpoint is that you just take one of your variables and say, I'm looking at gender. I would do a pie chart and just look at gender. And basically you're doing data cleaning to make sure there's nothing weird or funky going on. If your pie chart, by the way, if this pie chart looks like a rainbow, like it has 1,000 different colors, that's not going to be good for analysis. So what you would do, and I've had some groups with this before, let me see if they're in the My Data area so I can just use them as an example. Counseling services. So this happened to counseling services. They had a graph pie chart of looking at the appointment time. They gave a ton of options. So this is the beautiful rainbow that happened. Now this is not terribly useful for us, right? Like we have 2 big groups before the semester and during the first 2 weeks, and then everything else is crazy small. So what I did was I worked with them and we looked at this appointment time thing. And this was also a multiple checkbox, which is a giant pain in the ass for actually analyzing, because you can see we got comma and there's multiple times this person went. So what I did was I went ahead and said, all right, well, let's collapse this a little bit. Oops. Looking at that pie chart, we saw there was 2 big groups and a bunch of small ones. So what I wanted to do was make a group for before the semester started, make a group for during the first 2 weeks, and then just lump everyone else into after the first 2 weeks. So we came in and did an edited appointment time. And the problem was, since we had the multiple checkboxes, we actually had to make 4 groups, with multiple as being one of them. So that was just one of the fixes that we made. Another fix, and this looks like the counseling services group did this, so you guys are badass, was which of the following do you know about? They had a checklist, and again, there was a lot of different things listed. So they just made a proxy and they went in and counted how many things the person knew about. So someone with a 9 knows a ton about services available on campus, where someone with a 1 doesn't know very much about services on campus. And that they can actually analyze versus this, which is just a giant mess. I mean, we could look at this with a pie chart, but it's just a giant pain. So just throwing it out that those are things that you can do. If you want to make life a little bit easier on you, there are drop downs that let you sort the table by a certain variable. So that way, if you wanted to make like another column where you collapse some of these things, like, I don't know, nothing in here. I don't want to steal theirs, but let me grab one of my own data sets. Well, I'll just use something from before. Something from an old class. I'm trying to figure out which will be good. You could have stopped watching by now because I'm just still babbling about random stuff. But let's say I decide that I want to collapse some of these friends groups. Like I just want to have like 0 to 3 and then another one. I don't know. I could go in here, sort table descending, and now I have the ability, if I want to, I can insert a row here, and then I could be like friends edited. And then I could just be like more than 4. And I could do Control C, and then I could do boop, boop, boop. Let me make sure I'm going down just enough. Boom, Control V. So now I've gone ahead and put down more than 4 here, and then, oh, 4 or more should have been with it, whatever. Less than 4. I failed in terms of math words, but whatever. But this is just a different way to like quickly make those modifications if you need to. So that's really the hard part of the checkpoint 3, is that if you have a categorical variable with a ton of categories, this is kind of what I want you to do, is just go in. Oh, look, they actually did this. Ha ha! Sorry, look at me, I'm way too excited.
but they did this themselves. But now it's a lot easier than it used to be because this is something that didn't used to exist, the ability to sort your table by a certain thing, insert a row, and then start going. So anyways, I hope that helps. I know this was a long-ass video, but that's how to manage your data, how to clean your data, so that helps you with checkpoints 2 and 3.